are back now for a final best of 3 in the evening. In the evening of the evening. It is evening right now is where we are in, the time we are in, and we are jumping into our final match. The standings have already been confirmed, so this match won't really affect too much, but it'll be exciting to witness. These
100%.
Very high-quality players.
Exactly. A banger of a ZvT is before us. I can't wait to sink my teeth into some Spirit and Solar action. Let's go. ZvT Game 1 is going to be taking place on Gressfan. It's been a pretty quick night. It's only 1 a.m. here, and we've been going into like 2, almost 3 a.m. with a lot of these other broadcasts. So, yeah, a bit of a quick one, some faster games, but that could all end here on Gressfan. We'll be in for a long one.
Yeah, we're going to have 3 one-hour games in a row.
Oh, let's go.
Let's get it on, as here we are now on Gressfan, over here in the bottom right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the bottom right-hand corner. We, of course, have our red Terran player coming down from the land of Bolat. He is, of course, going to be representing Storm Gaming, PSG. We have Spirit.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gressfan, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing Onside Gaming. It is Solar.
I just thought of something dumb.
Oh, no.
If
Not
Spirit
again.
still had his old ID... Yeah, what do you mean not
Uh-huh.
again? That's like a usual occurrence. Anyway, still had his old ID. If him and Solar Archon, the name would be Soul R.
Why were you think? Why was your brain going in that direction, Yaku? What's going on?
Because I saw the 2 S's, and I'm like, ah, yes, Soul R Spirit. That sounds a bit like Soul Spirit.
Shaking my head. Well, we are, of course, getting into our next game. As you mentioned before, Solar is already confirmed to make it into the playoff bracket. Spirit is already confirmed to not make it any further in this tournament, but they still have to play off this series, and again, I'm sure they're still going to play their hearts out as well. I wish this matchup was played a little bit earlier, just because, like, it's gonna be so good. I love me some TVZ with Spirit. I almost said it now. You know what? I also love TVZ with Soul Spirit as well. True.
Exactly. Trying to remember. Soul Spirit plays Zerg.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Does play that Zerg. For now, though, we do see a standard opener here from Solar going for a hatch gas pool. Nothing too crazy, nothing too wild. Likewise, Spirit going for a Rax expand. No low ground 2 Rax. Spirit has done it in the past, but is opting not to here, not in game 1.
Yeah, at least not on Gressfan, where he knows that, there is potential here for Solar to be a bit more aggressive. Typically, we don't see early game aggression out of Solar, but once we get to the mid-game, once we get into Lair Tech, anything can happen, really.
Oh, exactly. Anything can happen, as we do see the third base is being forced in the linear base location instead. This Reaper putting in a lot of work, forces out a second gas geyser, but these queens should be able to protect this drone, and Solar should be able to keep it alive and get it back to mining.
Like so. Well, importantly, though, he kept that first tumor alive.
Did it keep the first tumor alive as well? The Reaper goes into the main, confirms the lack of gas, the lack of additional tech as well. Good grenade, and yeah, Spirit just making sure that he's not getting cheesed out. You just mentioned it, right? Solar, he's not really known for like early game aggression. We saw Ragnarok go for these big Roach Queen all-ins previously, multiple times actually today, even a main bust, but that's not really the kind of player that Solar is.
Yeah, he is known... If he is aggressive on any matchup, it would be in CVZ, and even then, he's not usually the one to initiate it. Well, I say that, but recently he has taken a bit of a turn.
Yeah, exactly. You know, Cyril would beg to disagree with you saying that he's not crazy in ZvT. So yeah, it's been really interesting to see Solar really flourish here this year specifically, especially in the most recent months. But back at home, and a very economic opener out of Spirit. He is not going for the add-on swap. He's not going for Banshees, but the likelihood of Solo going Roaches is a little bit lower compared to some of these other players. So yeah, he's going to be cutting some corners and going for a very different opener instead.
Indeed. 3cc before Starport is on the table here, and he is going for, more of a Hellion Liberator harass. I'm liking it. I'm liking it a lot. The only thing that's missing is really a Viking to chase away Overlords, but like you said, he doesn't really need it so much. Specifically against Solar, he doesn't need it.
Yeah, exactly. As we do see that the Overlords are being fended off, we just see Solar trying to go in for a Link Scout, but it is denied by these Hellions. So good positioning from Spirit. Meanwhile, back at home, Solar, he's going for his lair. This was a 4-minute 30 lair, so pretty standard timing from Solar. He's taking his gases as well. 4 gases are being taken. There's that Bailey Nest. And this should be 4 additional Evo Chambers. No, he's taking all 6 gases. Is this going to be the beginning here? Or maybe even Mutaplay?
It's gotta be, right? What else are you going to be getting all that gas for? It's not just good. If you were just getting them to throw him off, to throw your opponent off, I don't think it was, like, there are cheaper ways to throw off your opponent. That's what I'm trying to get at, look. We've been live for a while.
We have, as the Hellions are going to be looking to poke into that third base. Just going to be forcing a reaction. Liberator does dip into the main. There is that Spire that we were talking about. So Solar is going into Mutas. And this has been a little bit more popular recently. Over the past couple of weeks, a lot of Zerg players like Solar, like Ragnarok as well, even Dark, they've been embracing the Mutas here in this matchup.
Yeah, it was really interesting to witness. Initially, it was something that some players did occasionally, like a very stylistic thing. Then it became, more common on the larger maps, like Altitude and whatnot. Now it's pretty much part of the meta, I would say. Not the meta, but, the meta.
Yeah. And again, it is a good way to get map control, especially against an opener like this, against an opener like a, faster OTC into that starport as well. Your opponent does have less Marines to work with early on, unlike, say, the Beyond opener of the initial 2 racks. Meanwhile, that's a lot of tumors to reap. The Hellions going to do what they can here, but it looks like 3 of them will survive.
And sometimes 3 is all you need. It does continue to provide a little bit of map information here, and it will allow Solar to continue spreading his creep. Makes it just that much more difficult for Solar to push in, or for Spirit to push in, that specific location.
Yeah, exactly. And here we go. He's looking to take control of this center base area, or this central location. The tanks are getting in position. I believe the armory is done. Hellbats are being morphed in as well to help support and protect those tanks.
Little does he know, though, that 9 Mutalisks are on the way. This is one of the big downsides of going for more of a Hellbat focused composition like this, is that you are giving up a little bit more anti-air. You're not going to have as many Marines, but it is still going to be enough for Spirit to take out that 4th base.
Yeah, exactly. As the tanks and Hellbats get cleaned up, but as you mentioned, the hatchery does go down, so a good amount of damage was done, but we can see the Mutas are looking to hunt down those Medevacs. They do get eyes on them, and they're on the chase.
Yeah, Medevacs are trying to boost on forward into that main base. A couple of Marines land, but there are already Lings in position to deal with that. Mutalisk will be taking out the Medevac, and that's going to be the end of that specific drop play.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if that was quite worth it for Spirit, because sure, he got a base, but he didn't get any of the workers. He didn't really trade too well against the army, and now suddenly Solar has map control. To be fair, at least Spirit has plenty of time to react, right? We've already got turrets in the third base. No turrets in the main, though, surprisingly.
Yeah, a little bit of an oversight here for Spirit. Now throwing down a turret in that main base, but thankfully Solar did make an assumption that there would already be turrets there, so he opts to target down an add-on instead. This could have been a lot worse for Spirit.
It really could have. Again, Solar just noticed towards the end that there was no turret, but a little bit too little too late. Meanwhile, across the map, Liberator does arrive, going to be getting a couple of worker kills as well, but the Mutas will clean this up as well. And the game is going to be settling on down. Spirit turtling up back at home, working on his bio-mine composition, even mixing in some Thors.
This should be enough space for Thors to make it out. Yeah, it's fine.
They can suck it in. It's fine.
Yeah. And flatten themselves. Yeah. They look big, but they're not that big.
Just thick bones. As the mutas are going to be dancing between the bases, looking for a way in. They do take a Thor volley to the face, as Solar's getting ready for a big assault here towards the north. Interesting choice is actually transitioning. We already have a Hydrogen on the way and an Infestation Pit, so Solar, he's kind of opening up his tech pods for himself.
Yeah, just looking to play more reactive. Good pick off here, just denying another drop going into him. It's always a risk going for drops against Muta play. But sometimes you are able to sneak out just a single medevac or two, so yeah, really good pickoffs here from Solar.
Oof, yeah, exactly. So do force a cancel on the 4th CC as well. Mines are in position, but a big delay here on the economy of Spirit. He's going for his big push across the map, has one Thor, has a bunch of mines. Linkbane is waiting back at home, though, for that attack.
Yeah, this is Spirit's big push, quote-unquote, as yeah, he does have that Thor, he does have some Widow Mines, but not that much bio going with him. He only has one medevac as well, but he knows that he needs to get something done, so he is going to be committing to that.
Hey, that was a lot of friendly fire as well from those Widow Mines. The Linkbane is going to be rolling on in as well. They get into the mineral line, big connection, and the mutas are looking to clean everything else up. At the same time, Spirit wasn't able to push out. He's stuck in the middle of the map.
Yeah, caught between a rock and a Solar, as not much can really be done. Only one Baneling connected with this mineral line, but it is going to weaken up these SCVs enough for the Mutalists to come in and one-shot them. A lot of Marines stimming on forward, but they do get picked off. It's an unfortunate choke point here to fight in, because there are a couple of Marines that just won't in position to fire upon these Mutalists.
Yeah, exactly. And now finally, Spirit is going to be looking to engage. He's slowly pushing forward, but he barely has an army here to really threaten his opponent. The mutas, they turn back around. We do have a mine drop coming in. Oh my god, the mineral line goes down.
The entire mineral line goes down. You see Sola taking out 16 SCVs, but also losing 16 drones, just like so. Spirit, he's, even when it comes to the supply, he is slowly but surely getting himself back in this game. He is lagging behind a little bit when it comes to the base count, but it's fine to be slightly behind as a Terran player, as long as you're able to maintain your map control.
Yeah, exactly. And here we go. Reinforcements being routed across the map. Spirit, he did maintain control of this area, and he did keep his Thors alive. And now Solar is in a bit of trouble. We do see him trying to set up a surround, but we have so many mines behind this army covering that flank.
Yeah, both players are maxed out. They have the same amount of army supply, but I do want to favor Spirit's army a lot more. Solar is well aware of this. He's sending his Lings all the way across the map, just trying to get whatever damage he can get done, and is looking to replace these Lings with whatever he can.
Yeah, exactly. The third base is going to be forfeit as Solar's getting out of control. Spirit turning back around to deal with that army, but at the same time, he does leave a couple of forces here across the map as well to try to deny some of these bases. Yeah,
most of Spirit's forces do return home and will be able to clean this up, but he still has left a lot of army in that position. 14 SCVs go down, but Solar's base is in a lot of trouble. It's really difficult to engage into a Terran army when there are these many Widow Mines borrowed.
Yeah, it really is. 14 SCVs go down, as you were saying. This hatchery, no mining going on whatsoever, but Solar has been able to rebuild and remax. He can collapse on this. He's actually, as he loses mutas, he's replacing them with Hydras.
Yeah, which is definitely a much more effective unit, specifically against Widow Mines. Spirit has opted not to go for a tank reduction once he recognized that he was up against Mutalists, and as you were mentioning, you know, Solar for a very long time in this game, or much earlier on in this game, was setting himself up to have a very flexible tech path to be able to just switch up his army composition whenever necessary.
Yeah. And we can see Solar just out of position here. He's going to send everything back into the main base. One drop was all it took. 5 workers do go down, and Spirit gets the hell out of there with his main army. With most of it, did lose a chunk earlier, unfortunately, and he still has quite a bit to rebuild.
Yeah, quite a lot. He's had plenty of production, not struggling that much when it comes to the economy. In fact, he is out mining Solar right now. Widow Mines will connect with a decent chunk of these of these Lings. Banelings are having a lot of trouble connecting with anything thanks to all these concussive shell marauders. His base will go down. That's a pretty good pickoff here for Solar.
Yeah, it is a good pick off. Third base does fall, but Spirit, he doesn't care. He's expanding here towards the north instead. He still has a pretty healthy worker count overall, and he's just rebuilding here with Ghost, with his mines, with his bio army. But is he ready for what's coming up next? Because we are going into Lunkers.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. And these Lunkers do have upgrades on them. They have both upgrades on them, actually. Solar, you know, he waited until he fully upgraded his Lurkers before actually transitioning to them.
Yeah, it does. He does show his hand a little bit prematurely, though. He does throw one of his Lurkers away. Meanwhile, we do see Spirit pushing in towards the northern portion of the map. So Lurkers won't be at home to defend. They're pushing out instead. Another Lurker goes down.
Yeah, this is very ambitious for Solar. To be trying to move across the map with just his Lurkers and to just try to pick away at a base, at a mineral line, by the looks of things.
Yeah, but I mean, the base isn't here. Remember, he killed this CC earlier, so not really doing too much. Lingbane does roll on in. Mine shots are looking to go off, and Solar, he's barely holding on here with the Lingbane back at home. These Lurkers haven't really done too much.
Yeah, I mean, they might be able to zone the army away, but to what end? You know, the rest of Solar's army just isn't in position to really support these or do much of anything.
And here we go, we're going for a big counterattack. So it looks like Solar, he's trying to keep the attention on these Lurkers. They're going to get cleaned up. They do trade okay against the Bio Forces, but the Planetary goes down.
And that was really the major target here for Solar. He knocked Spirit down to a 4-base economy, soon to be 3-base, potentially. Banelings are unable to really connect with anything here, but it looks like there's just way too much Zerg. Spirit has been knocked down to 3-base economy, but did Solar lose too much army to do that?
Yeah, that's an important question here because he has no more Lurkers remaining here defensively to hold on back at home. Another hatchery is going to be going down. Banelings are just now finishing on up. It looks like Solar, he's trying to collapse on these ghosts.
Yeah, not quite going to be able to get them. Will be eating a couple of Widowmines to the face. The ghosts actually take quite a bit of friendly fire from the Widowmines. A couple of them will be going down, but it looks like Spirit has kept enough of them alive.
That was a very juicy mine shot there, killing every single Baneling. Spirit, he does hold on to this position. He does preserve his ghost can as well. He's pushing on forward. He killed this hatchery once again. Solar, he's struggling to keep up. You can see here in the supplies, we have pretty comparable armies right now. Solar, he's ahead in workers, but he's also heavily oversaturated, not really mining too efficiently at all.
Yeah, he's got a lot of workers, but he doesn't really have a lot of mineral patches to utilize them on. As Spirit has kind of the opposite problem. He's got... no, scratch that. Scratch whatever I said. He is behind on bases and on workers.
He is, and another Ling counterattack here is going to try to deny some mining at the third base. Spirit, he brings everything back home. And this is going to give Solar the breathing room he needs to rebuild his army. We need more Lurkers. It would be ideal against the kind of composition he's up against. He's got a couple, yes, but not too many. Only 5 Lurkers with the main army of Solar.
Yeah, you know, with good enough positioning, maybe he can. Maybe that is going to be enough for him to take a big engagement, but that's a very big if against a player like Spirit who has a lot of ghosts and knows how to use them.
Yeah, and here we go. The armies are looking to engage. Spirit kind of caught out of position here in a really awkward place. Widowmines are going to get cleaned up at the same time. A massive mine drop here towards the south. Workers are going down.
But so is the Bioforce of Spirit. The Lurkers of Solar have been kept alive, and now they're coming in. Now they're really being utilized to their full potential. I say that as a couple of them are just waddling along. You need to borrow them, Solar. There we go. GG is called as Solar is going to be taking a very chaotic game number 1.
GG, a beautiful surround towards the end. He had the Lurkers from behind. He had the Lingbane from the front. There was no escaping for Spirit as he does get completely engulfed by the Zerg. GG. Was a pretty intense game though. Overall, was pretty back and forth as well for a big portion of that game. But Solar, he was able to get into his Lurker play eventually and deny bases, more importantly.
Yeah. And now he's asking for a quick little break, quick little bathroom break. Oh, but you get stuff. a bit of a rarity. Gives us a little bit of time to actually talk about the game instead of quickly summarizing it. But yeah, it definitely felt like Solar was. I was gonna say was in charge for the most part, but it felt like at the start of the game, right? Sola was in control, but there was that moment where he sent basically half of his entire, or more than half of his entire army supply, trying to take out one planetary fortress, where that was the first time I think I actually felt worried for him, when I actually thought, oh, Spirit has a much better army now. Sola could actually just lose this here on out, but yeah, I guess at that point Sola had a solid enough economy, he had enough larva, he had enough of a bank that he was able to reinforce quick enough to not quite get the map control again, but he was able to chase Spirit back, and from then on, yeah, it was a bit of a situation where Spirit was slowly getting suffocated when, every now and then Sola would slip a couple of banelings into Mineral Line. Every now and then Planetary Fortress would get sniped.
Yeah, basically that entire game summed up to, it did feel like Spirit a couple of times did have an overwhelming force, but he was never able to really make use of it because Solo was doing such a great job at just counterattacking, just constant either Ling Bane run-bys or, the Mutas harassing or even the Lurkers later on as well. Like, he was just hyper-fixated on trying to pull apart the attention of Spirit and trying to keep him back home and allow Solar to just get enough of an army to eventually overcome and overpower what Spirit had. So it felt like really risky play because as a result, Solar was losing a lot of hatcheries. Like, he was losing a lot of bases, which he was barely unable to hold on to. But he was like preserving his workers and keeping everything else alive.
Yeah, he was losing units, but he also was making units, so it evens out in the end.
There you go, Chi. Well played, and now we're getting ready for game number 2, potentially the final game of the night of this series. Give your energy to Spirit, though, to try to bring it to the ace match.
Yeah. Here we have it now. We are going to be spawning on over to Royal Blood, where we're here in the top right-hand corner of the map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner of the map. We have our red Terran player coming down from the land of Borland. It's of course going to be representing Psystorm Gaming, PSG. We have Spirit.
Yes, I'm just going to be screen sharing as well. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player Yaku, can we...
And over here
No.
in the...
I think we should turn off our cameras. I think that makes it easier.
Yes.
Yeah, but in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the South Korean Zerg player. For Onside Gaming, it is Solar. Boy, here we go. So, yeah, potentially the final game here of the series, a hatch gas pool opener here from our Zerg player.
Yeah, meanwhile, Spirit is going for an expansion before Arax. We know Spirit for liking to play greedy, but this is another level.
Yeah, exactly. We do see a CC first build from Spirit. We do apologize when it comes to the quality here of the stream. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get everyone into the lobby in time. We will make sure to do that if we do end up in the ace match. But yeah, we do apologize. Still apologize for doing the best with what we have.
Yeah.
And yeah, for now, as you were saying, a very economic, very greedy opener here from Spirits. I do think this is, again, a really smart thing to do against Solar because he's not one to go for early roach timings or roach rushes, which are things that can punish this. So, yeah, Solar, he's just going to get into his own game.
Like so. Going for his own 3-hatch build. Very, very standard stuff coming down.
Yeah, very standard indeed, as yeah, we do have our third hatchery on the way, going to be droning on up, and likewise our eyes are on Spirit here to see how much more greedy is he going to be. I imagine he's still going to go into a 3cc follow-up as well, kind of as Spirit typically does.
Yeah, he's not really one to go for big 2-base all-ins, is he?
Yeah, not really. So we'll keep an eye on him. Likewise, Solo will as well. This is also the added advantage of this, is that Spirit also went straight into that reactor. There are no Marines out, so the Overlord is free to just stay in the main base a little bit longer as he does check and does confirm the third TC on the way.
Before Starport. So we're looking to add-on swap quite a bit here. We'll be getting into his Helium production. No Reapers just yet, but actually no Reapers at all now that I think about it.
Yeah, no we do have the one Reaper,
Oh, okay.
thankfully. We do have one Reaper to scatter across the map, but again, this Overlord of Solo is just going to confirm everything. Reaper finally does move out just to get a read on what is going on. It had to stay at home in case there was a pull first to defend against Lings, just because of how economic Spirit was being, but now we can finally be a little bit more active and, yeah, make sure that Solo isn't doing anything too out of the norm.
Yeah, he's now free. The Reaper, I mean.
Is now free. Spirit back at home, this time going into Banshee play as well. Cloak is in production, so yes, once again a little bit more standard and normal. I think for the first time this series, Spirit is going for Banshees.
Yeah, very, very safe stuff here. Again, just goes back to the fact that Spirit wasn't quite able to check the main base of Sola, wasn't really able to keep an eye on him with any scouting, so he's just playing as safe as can be. Sola, on the other hand, is teching up as quickly as possible. He knows that Spirit has been playing more greedy. He knows that he doesn't have much of a map presence, so he's free to do pretty much whatever. His lair's about to finish up. He throws down a Roach Warren, not as part of the wall, so yeah, that could signal that Solar is actually looking to go for more of a Roach-heavy composition.
Yeah, exactly. Something we don't see too often, but I appreciate that Solar is mixing things up. We have Roaches, we have Evo Chambers for, I imagine, 1-1 for said Roaches, and these big 1-1 timings have become quite popular here on Royal Blood. I mean, I say that, we've been seeing variations of that from Ragnarok, and I imagine that's what Solar is going to have here coming up next.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll keep our eyes on that. 1-1 is on the way. Galil Reconstitution as well. Solar is pretty much saturated on 3 bases, but it doesn't look like he has a 4th on his mind anytime soon.
Yeah, exactly. We can be working towards that big 1-1 timing that we were referencing, which can hit quite hard here. Hopefully Spirit can kind of muster up or recognize what's going on in time. For the time being, he's just saturating his 3 bases, getting into his own upgrades, does have a presence on the map, and finally the Banshees are moving out.
And it's going to be a very important scout here for Spirit.
He's heading into towards the main base. Spores are, of course, done. Queens are in position, but ideally the Queens are pulled out of position here to maybe make room for these Hellions to go in and harass, as a couple of workers are going down. Quite a few, actually.
Yeah, 3 workers for basically nothing. These Banshees not taking too much damage either, so pretty good damage here for Spirit. More importantly, he is able to pull these Queens out of position. Hellions dive in. They got one more drone, but yeah, Solar has kind of recognized what he's up against, so he is positioning his Queens accordingly.
Oh yeah, exactly. The Banshees, they are going to be zoned away. 5 workers do go down. And I don't know if you noticed, but Solar is not saturating his 4th. He's going to be cutting workers here at 66, and he's been building up a massive Roach army. He's been keeping them hidden here at the natural base, but I do believe... Oh, a massive scan does reveal them!
Oh, perfect timing coming out here from Spirit. He's been denied vision for so long. Finally, he does throw down a safety scan, and that might just about be enough for him to muster up a defense. Yeah, tank is on the way, but not out yet.
As soon as the scan finished, we threw down an infestation bit, a Bailey nest, and we started droning. So Solar, he is transitioning out of this. I do believe that he intended to hit a 1-1 timing, but now he is just shifting gears entirely. A scan confirms that in the main base as it sees all the tech.
Very diligent here from Spirit. You know, other Terran players, after getting their Banshees tonight, they wouldn't think that the double scan is worth it. They would have gone for more mules, which, you know, can't really blame them for. More minerals does mean that you can get more production, does mean that you can max out quicker, hit a quicker timing and whatnot, but in this case with Spirit, it really pays to be... What's that word I'm thinking of here? Like, it pays to be diligent, and yeah, it pays to know.
Exactly. And with that, we did see that Spirit even had extra bunkers on the way for that defense, but now he knows that he's not going to need them. Nice harassment here on the right-hand side. Is going to pick off a Queen, is going to delay his opponent, but Solar is on the cusp of maxing out. Ling's on the way. No bailing speed yet, so I don't know if we're really going to push in without it. Solar's just getting in position to establish this center base.
Yeah, another very important, a very importantly positioned base here is another base, especially for Zerg, that will act as a bit of a launch pad and act as a little bit of a keystone for your defenses.
Yeah, exactly. As here we go, we have the Roach Ravager coming in from behind. Ravagers are going to be focused down though already, so not the best engagement out of Solar. Again, he still doesn't have bailing speed. Again, he still can't quite engage with this army, and as a result, he's going for a big Ling run by instead.
Yeah, you really don't want to be facing this biotank force head on. So Solar is setting up a little bit of a surround, but he needs more time to get it ready, and even then, his surround is getting denied by the reinforcements of Spirit. Solar pushes in. He was very desperate, but like you said, bailing speed was not done yet. And these bailings were not able to get any connections.
Exactly. Now he's up against the wall. Hatcheries are going down left and right. We have a drop into the main base as well. Bailing speed finally finishes, but at this point, it may just be too late. The efficiency of Spirit is just too good. That drop in the main base still going uncontested. The bailings are all being focused down.
And even the hatchery goes down. Solar's down to 3 base economy, which is the same as Spirit, but that will always favor the Terran player. Solar's now breaking through. He resets the tank count, but he is losing a lot to deal with that.
He really is, and we do see Spirit trying to muster up a defense back at home. It has, well, the reinforcements are going to be more than enough to chase down Solar. The Biles only connect with one of those Marines, and Solar, he has a hive, he has Vipers on the way, but that may just not be enough.
That was the most unlucky Marine in the world, absorbing 5 Biles to the face like that.
Smooch. A little bit unfortunate, as Solar, he's forced to fight off of creep as well. He has to if he wants to hold on to that base. It's not an ideal fight. A lot of Lings do get shaved off. Good stutter stepping coming in from Spirit as he is taking his 4th behind this.
Yeah, Spirit's really securing his economic position here. He even has that tank siege up on high ground. Banshees clear up whatever they can.
They do clear up whatever they can. Another tank is going to get piled down as the Banshees do just make sure that there's no base being taken on the left-hand side. The Marines, they get on top of this hatchery as well. Can it be focused down? Can Solar hold on to it?
Solar will just about be able to hold on to that hatchery, but it is very low. A couple more volleys in a follow-up push from Spirit should be able to take that out. Solar is finally getting some breathing room. He has Vipers out. He has an Ultralisk on the way. They're going to get even more than just that one pretty soon.
Yeah, exactly. That one Ultra has a lot of work to do. Kindness plating still on the way. +3 carapace as well, as we do see Solar trying to hold on here. It's going to be a tough hold, but here come the Vipers. They do have enough energy for Blinding Clouds.
Yeah, they are full of Vipers, or Vipers that are full of energy, and there are no ghosts yet for EMP. Solar will keep this hatchery alive, but not for too much longer. Spirit very sneakily drops his Marines back in the same position.
Exactly, very cheeky move here. Queen's coming for Transfuse. Can they keep the base alive? The answer for now, they can. He does hold on.
Wow. I was gonna say, you know, I didn't realize Transfuse was that good, but I think I wiped the memory of how good Transfuse was from my mind. Either way, Solar will be forced to cancel that 6 base. Very nice delay here from Spirit. Both players are about to be maxed out, but Spirit has a much, much more potent army.
He really does. He's just forcing his way in. Now, Solar has maxed out. These Vipers are going to be so crucial in the defense. A good pre-split here by Spirit. He is engaging with the army, and Solar, he's going to have to try to commit here. For now, just going to be forcing his opponent back, going for another Link counterattack, once again denying the 5th base of Spirit.
Yeah, whatever he can really do to occupy Spirit for now, deny some mining, or to, yeah, just even force some of the army back. Huge Baneling connection and even bigger Blinding Clouds. This one Ultra is starting to put in some work.
Yeah, putting in a lot of work. The tanks are going to be reset as Solar does finally force Spirit the hell off of his creep. Spirit does have a 5th base soon to be taken, though, and Solar doesn't have the best economy behind this, doesn't have the best army right now. He needs time to rebuild, to remax.
Yeah, he really can't sustain too many more losses. A couple more Ultras are on the way, as are a couple more Banelings. But Spirit is just hoping that Spirit is just, repositioning his own army or regrouping his own army, getting more reinforcements, and yeah, it's looking to go for round. This wouldn't be round 2. This would be what, round 6, 7, 8 when it comes to the push.
He can go all day, Pup. He can go all day. Ling Ramai this time is going to be thwarted. The Planetary is now about to finish up. Spirit has an insane economy right now, and Solar is barely holding onto his bases, barely getting his mining back up and running. He is up against the wall, but he does have a maxed out army at this point. He can still take a really big fight. He can still take a more efficient engagement if Spirit overextends.
Yeah, Solar can take one good fight, but not much more beyond that. No queens in position by this hatchery to transfuse it. And finally, it will be taken down.
Yeah, this hatchery will fall. The Ling's not quite in position, as you were saying. No Overlord, no scouting, no vision here for Solar ahead of time. Meanwhile, this Viper went on a bit of a mission. I think the second Viper did go down as well, so only one Viper is remaining for Solar.
The scouting Viper, you love to see it.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of miscontrol going on there. Unfortunately, only one Viper remaining. That many less Blinding Clouds are available. One of them is going to be thrown down. We have one more left as we yoink the tank.
Yeah, pretty big pick-off. The Ghosts are getting their snipes on top of these Ultralisks, and it looks like it's going to be enough. Spirit is chasing this back. Lingbane on the other side of the map, not getting too much damage done.
Oh, as this hatchery is barely going to go down with that last stim. GG gets called, and a Spirit will take game number 2, tying up the series 1-1.
Very nicely done here for Spirit, but that was a funny moment there. As Sola taps out just before the hatchery goes down.
Yeah, exactly.
But,
it was just
Spirit
too much.
Jumps back in to take it out right at the end.
Yeah, it was just too much damage being done. Solar was up against the wall for the majority of that game. Was struggling to come back and struggling to hold on to his bases. Spirit just had a little bit too much momentum and great macro behind it as well.
He really did. Something about Royal Blood, man. Just a much better map for attacking into, for pushing into for Terran. And yeah, it really does mean that a lot of these roach plays kind of fall in their face. In this case, though, for Solar, it kind of... the roach play didn't work out for a very different reason. There was some very clutch scans by Spirit.
Yeah, exactly. As we are getting into this, and we are getting ready for the final game of this series. Again, we apologize for the low quality of that last game. We mentioned earlier, but we did have to Discord stream that final game number 2. But we should be able to get everyone involved here in game number 3. Oh boy, the final game of the night.
Yeah, everybody is now in the lobby. And we're going to be jumping straight on in. That was a very brief moment where Kuro was actually the host, but now that has been rectified, unfortunately.
Yeah. Here we go. Here we go. We are loading into the final game. This could still go either way. As a reminder, of course, Solar is already making it out of this group, but it's about the pride. It's about the series itself. It's about the Ligalac points, Papi. Yeah. Let's go.
It's about the pride. It's about the power. It's about Poland.
There you go. I thought you were going to break into song.
He is hungry.
You did say earlier that Solar was the Rock.
He is. Did I? I think it said something like that. It sounds like something I'd say.
You said he was as hard as the Rock.
It sounds like something I'd say.
Yeah.
I don't remember that, but I think if you said I said it, then I probably said it. I don't remember a lot of things, but speaking of not remembering, we are here now on Dragon Scales, a map of memories. We're over here in the top left-hand corner map, starting all the way in the top left-hand corner. We, of course, have our red Terran player coming out from the land of Poland, going to be representing Storm Gaming, PSG. Our final game of the evening. He is Spirit.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing On-Site Gaming. It is Solar.
This is what it all comes down to. One map with a very short rush distance, but as we all know, Solar isn't one to go for any rushes, and Spirit does like to go big whenever he goes for anything, but usually he goes big on greed.
Oh yeah, that's typically what he goes for. And also, to wind it all back as well, for some context as to why Solar was struggling so much in that last game, was because he was going for a 3-base all-in. Remember, he was going for a 66 workers, 4 bases, the 4th just for Larva, and he was looking to max out and hit a timing with 1-1 with pure Roach Ling, and it got scattered ahead of time. It was seen, it was spotted, and Solar had to shift gears and start transitioning the hell out of it, while Spirit was preparing back at home. And then Spirit, he was so quick to re-scout and confirm that Solar was, again, not attacking.
Yeah. Transitioning out of that, going for more of an earlier hive. This is why you got to utilize the scans, you know? You have scans, you should use them.
Yeah, it was really well done by Spirit to be able to recognize what was going on and be able to react and respond, and yeah, really powerful game out of Spirit as well as a result. Because of that, I imagine that Solar isn't gonna go for any kind of early Roach Rush this time in Game 3.
But that's why it would be the perfect opportunity to go for an unscouted Roach timing.
What if it gets scattered?
Well, then that's when you transition into a bit of an earlier hive. You throw down your Baneling Nest, you throw down your Infestation Pit.
There you go. And then you die.
Well, I mean... Look, death is secondary.
Yeah. We're thinking too far ahead. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
As Spirit is actually going to be mixing things up here, I appreciate it. So it is technically a 3rd CC before Starport, but this is a 3CC 2-1-1 from Spirit.
3CC 2-1-1. Yeah! Took me a second for my brain to remember what the numbers meant, but yes. For the first time tonight, we are seeing Spirit, still playing economic, but is looking to be a bit more active on the map with that 2-on-1. He's going to be looking to get Marines a lot quicker, Stim a lot quicker, and just have that map presence with those 2 medevacs and 16 Marines.
Yeah, I did notice. It was I think it was like a couple of months ago. There was a comment in the chat where I remember someone saying like, "Yo, there's a little like StarCraft jargon going on in this cast." And then I thought about it for a moment, and I'm like, yeah, you're not wrong. Like if you're not too familiar with certain verbiage, like these numbers, like what do they really mean to you? Like it could be anything.
Numbers, man. You know. Well, you got them on the screen. You have 2 -1 equals 0. Math.
That is math. You're not wrong. Not wrong, Yaku.
Well, we got 13/12. What is that? 13 divided by 12. What is
stop on your head. It's okay. You don't worry about it.
12 pool? You mean to tell me you're getting 12 spawning pools?
But yeah, for those wondering, again, very economic because of the fast 3rd base, but it's going to be very biocentric as we have 2 Raxes here, which is not the most normal thing to do. As a result, we won't have any Hellions to work with, so we have very little map control early on. I said no Hellions, but you only make 4 Hellions, so very few here on the map for Spirit, and they're being hunted down as we speak. So Spirit is stuck at home until the medevacs come out, but interesting, he's actually going into much faster tank production behind this.
Interesting choice. So yeah, Spirit is looking to follow this up with a bit of a quicker timing push. This does mean that there's extra pressure on Spirit to keep his Marines alive.
Yeah. So Spirit, he did go for a bit different variation. Typically you make 4 Hellions. He only made 2 Hellions and went for a much faster, again, just, switching to tank production here instead. So really bold move here from Spirit, rushing into those tanks. But here we go. The Marines have arrived. We're looking for a cancel on this 4th base as well. He's going to get it.
Just like so. Solar did not know what he was up against. Didn't quite have enough Lings to really deal with the 2-on-1 coming his way. It's a very solid delay here on the 4th base of Solar.
Yeah, exactly. Is going to be delaying it. Meanwhile, Lings are across the map. They take down the final Hellion. Going to be delaying some mining here at the 3rd at least. But, I mean, Spirit, I'm sure he's happy with that because he's keeping Solar contained to only 3 bases, cleaning up a lot of the creep as well. And Solar is going to have to expand elsewhere. It does take a base over towards the left, and the Reaper spots it.
Yeah, and this is a very isolated position, too. Spirit, getting with that earlier tech production, can very easily focus his forces to that position, get a free 4th base, and then just keep the push going.
He really can. Speaking of those tanks, they're actually being loaded up and they're going to be joining the main army instead, but Baneling Speed has finished up. Solar looking to collapse on this position, but the tanks are going to the main.
Wow. Again, not quite what I was expecting. Normally we do see the tanks siege up on the low ground just to keep them a little bit more safe, but Spirit, he's just built different, Now he's sending them down to the low ground, but might be a little too late.
Oh, I mean, because that the Lings are not in position, Queen's are going to be going down. Really well done here by Spirit to drop into the main base and shut down the Lings. That's a kill, not a cancel on that hatchery as well.
This is why it's so dangerous to go no anti-air as a Zerg player. Spirit, he's just bouncing up, bouncing down. Can't explain that.
Yeah, the drop play is pulling Solar apart right now. He's having a really hard time keeping up here with the movements, and Spirit isn't stopping. We have another drop moving out towards the left-hand side, looking to try to punish the new 4th base of Solar. The tank positioning here is insane, and a lot of tank shots are going to be going up on those Banelings.
Yeah, 1 tank will go down, but Solar did have to trade a lot of Lingbane for that 1 tank, and once again, Solar only now is able to establish his 4th base. He has a huge mineral bank, but he's never really been able to make use of that because he didn't have any larva.
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't have a macro hash, doesn't have the 4th base. We can see the drop still has not been cleaned up, by the way, and Spirit is still just flexing this position. Finally, Solar should be able to clean this up. He's on the low ground as well. The tank will finally go down.
Like so. But not the Marines. That's a lot of Marines.
Yeah, Spirit being so aggressive here. He's got his own 4th base on the way back at home. We've got 2-2 on the horizon, and he's moving out with another double drop. So he's looking to try to pull apart Solar. Solar doesn't have any Banelings here on the left-hand side.
Yeah, it's only Lings, and while a lot of Lings are what you want against a double drop, you need a lot more than that.
Yeah, again, really good positioning at a Spirit. It does bring the entire army over towards, or a lot of the army over towards left-hand side. Good target firing. Hot pick up there. Doesn't get a Baneling to connect on his bio army. And here comes some libs.
Yeah, one of them will be chased away, but there's no Queen in position here in the main base. A couple of drones will be going down. Once again, Solar's attention was elsewhere. Spirit was doing such a good job of just distracting Solar for as long as possible. 5 drones go down. And there's even more lost mining time.
Exactly, as we do reposition that Liberator here into the natural base as well. More workers are falling. Queens as well. The drop play is still finally going to be dealt with here by the Lynx. Forces another hook pickup as the Liberator finally falls.
Like so. Solar once again, though, has been so delayed. He has about an even number of workers, but his army supply is struggling so much because he, again, was just never had an opportunity to get enough larva and to spend all of his larva.
No. Speaking of, we do have another drop here on the left-hand side. Good splits here against the Banelings. Does take some of the Banelings to the face. But yeah, along the lines of what you've been saying, the Queens have been having a really hard time just like rotating between the bases. We've been missing a lot of injects as a result as well, so even less larva to work with. And Spirit is looking so solid back at home. His 3rd fully fortified with bunkers, with tanks. We have the 4th base as a planetary. We have 2 more CCs on the way for a 5th and a 6th.
Yeah, 2-2 is about to finish up, and Spirit's not too far away from fully maxing out. Nice little Marine Bomb here, just clearing out these rogue Banelings. Might as well utilize them.
Oh my god, the target firing on the Banelings was insane. And as we drop back into the main base, meanwhile, the reinforcements come in towards that new 5th base at this point. Creep is being cleaned up, and again, Solar, he needs time right now. He has a hive, he has Vipers on the way, but he needs time to gather up that energy for those blinding clouds.
Yeah, immediately we see Solar evacuating this base. He knows it's a bit of a lost cause. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, we have a massive counterattack coming out here from Solar, trying to draw some of the army back, and yeah, looking to see whatever damage he can get done. That was an MVP tank, taking out so many of the Banelings. Finally, the Banes do connect on the mineral line. 16 SCVs go down, which isn't too bad, but Solar did give up his 5th base in order to get that done.
Yeah, the 5th goes down, but this is a lot of cannon damage. Finally, some damage is done across the map. Solar has had a really hard time punishing the economy of Spirit, but finally he has done so. At the same time, though, the main army still has not been done with the Vipers. No!
Are in such a vulnerable position, but Solar will be keeping them alive for now. There are only 3 tanks over here, so actually Solar doesn't even need to throw down the blinding clouds just yet. This Viper will live, and it will throw down a Parabomb to deal with the medevac. That's funny to think about, but that's the main anti-air that Solar has, is Parabombs.
Yeah, and a good split from Spirits is just avoiding the splash damage of that parasitic bomb. Good target firing once again, but finally, Solar, he can breathe. He has dealt with the pushes. He can take this moment to just re-establish these bases, resaturate his bases as well, focus on maxing, focus on building up his tech. But Spirit, he only gives him a moment before he moves out once again with tanks, even with Liberators this time.
Yeah, it's like Solar has a moment to build up his tech. Spirit already has his tech.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the Ghost Academy's still on the way, though. To be fair, I feel like this Ghost Academy has been a little bit neglected, but it is finally in production for Spirit as he's slowly leapfrogging forward here with these tanks. A lot of the creep is going to be receding. At the same time, a double drop on the left-hand side. There are Lings in position.
And they will be chasing this back, denying it for the time being. Hydralisk now out, which can't help against these Liberators. I mean, it kind of feels like Solar got these Hydralisks out of necessity rather than, you know, as part of his actual game plan.
Yeah, exactly.
Even now he's
just
still
having
3-3 melee.
Yeah, at least now he has some anti-air, right, to deal with the drops, to deal with those Liberators, as you were saying. Just focusing on his Ling Bane for the time being. Meanwhile, Spirit, he denies the base once again, clears up a little creep, and he doesn't overextend. He's going to rotate around.
That base just... That's not a good position to be a hatchery, let me put it that way. So going for a big surround. We'll be catching a lot of these tanks on siege. We'll be connecting a lot of Banelings onto the bio. Tank count gets reset. Liberators were not really here, and Solar has just suddenly found a lot of momentum.
Yeah, here we go. He resets the tank count, as you were saying. He annihilates the main army of Spirit, but the reinforcements are a little bit too much, and Solar has to back off. That was a really good moment for him. Finally, a really good fight, and he is remaxing it. And once he does build up his army, once again, he can push out for a second time.
Yeah, Spirit's going to need a little bit more time to rebuild his own army. His entire tank count got reset, and he's only producing 2 at a time.
Yeah, exactly. It goes to show like how intense StarCraft can be at times. One bad fight is all it takes, and as you mentioned, as it was happening, Spirit was caught unsieged, was caught with his pants down, very exposed, and now Solar has map control.
Alright, so we're going to go for a full surround here in this base. The army of Spirit not quite in position to deal with this, but he's at least keeping them back and keeping them alive. It does mean that he has to give up this base, but he nails an EMP on these Vipers. At this point, though, Solar, it looks like he just has way too much Zerg.
Yeah, he has just an overwhelming amount of Ling Bane. The Hydra's focusing on the CC as well. It looks like Solar is busting into that natural base. No, he diverts his attention. Okay, he's going to back off. He just focused on killing the army. He can remax, rebuild. He denied the center base, and we can see Solar even taking one of Spirit's bases.
Yeah, the last thing Solar wants to do right now is to overextend and give up the lead that he's fought so hard to establish. Finally, that base over in the 3rd location will be able to mine.
It's still all the mineral patches. Yeah, the entire game for the past like 10 minutes, he's been trying to get this base up and running. Finally, fully operational. Finally, it will be left alone, and we can see Solar just remaxing Ling Bane at Hydra. We have 2 Vipers filled to the brim with energy, and now we're going here for potentially one final attack, one final assault on this third.
Spirit hasn't really been able to rebuild that much yet. Blinding Cloud will get thrown down on one tank, but there are more tanks on the way. A lot of bio looks very, very exposed, but it's not enough. But there's not enough Zerg here for Solar to really keep this going. He does, however, get a base and a mineral line, and confirm another base here towards the north.
Exactly. That's all that Solar needs to do. He's just trading efficiently, denying bases, killing workers. Now he's rotating over towards the right-hand side. He does have vision here of the planetary with this Overlord, and that is going to be his next target.
Like so. He knows that the Army of Spirit is very far away and not at all in position to deal with that. And that is the freshest mining base that Spirit has right now. If that goes down, he's going to be in a lot of trouble economically.
Yeah, and there it is. The Lings are going to full surround. The Banelings do push away these SCVs as well. They will connect. 15 workers go down, as well as the planetary.
Like so. All of a sudden, we see Spirit's income plummeting. You know, the income graph is very deep into the blue, and Spirit is going for another maxed out assault.
Yeah, big EMP on the Vipers at least, but the Lings are getting into the middle line. The Baileys are rolling on forward as well. There are only 2 tanks that are sieged, and once again, Solar, he takes down the base, he takes down the mining.
Just like so. 41 workers go down in the blink of an eye. GG is called, and Solar will be taking the final game of Group C. Very nicely done here from both of our players, honestly. I do kind of feel like this was, without a doubt, the closest match that we've had tonight.
Yeah, very back and forth. We saw a very strong start from Spirit, denying bases, killing workers, trading so damn well. Solar was suffocating. He was just being starved out. But one good fight is all it took. Solar was able to get a little bit of breathing room, was able to muster up an army, and suddenly things swung in favor of the Zerg player of Solar. Oh, GG, well played. Congratulations to Solar for taking the series and, of course, for advancing on out of the group.
Yeah, proving once again that, he has... how am I describing this? Like, basically, we knew that this last match, wasn't going to impact the standings that much towards the end here, but, at least Solar was able to kind of prove that by taking this match, he does deserve that third place position to make it out into the playoffs.
Yeah, and it was really close, really close. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the bracket yourself, because we have finally wrapped up Group C. There is one group remaining, and it's been really intense groups. These are, of course, round robin, so everyone plays everyone, and Solar barely made it out. Kind of similar to like Maru in Group A, I feel like Solar and Maru, they are favored players here. We expect them to do well. We expect them to breeze through. But Ragnarok really threw a wrench in the works here in this group.
Yeah, it's like in pretty much any other group, they would be favored to make it out even number 1. But because of how stacked the brackets are, because of how stacked this entire tournament is, you can't really avoid a group that doesn't have, a lot of contenders making it out, and, a couple of players who normally you'd expect to make the playoffs not make it this time. It's called the Masters Coliseum for a reason.
Yeah, they're all masters of their craft, and it's not easy whatsoever. My condolences to the European Terrans, Spirit and Hero Marine. They have not been able to make it through. They are amazing players. They're beautiful what they do. We're big fans of them, but they don't make it out of the group stage. And we have one group left starting tomorrow. It's going to be Group B with Rainer, Creator, Clem, Hero, Alazer, and Firefly.
Indeed, our final group remaining, which is almost like an inverse of Group C, if you think about it. Here in Group C, we had 3 Terran players, 2 Zerg players, 1 Protoss player. Group B, 3 Protoss players, 2 Zerg players, and 1 lone Terran player.
Yes, exactly. Clem is looking to represent the European Terrans as best he can. As you were saying, a lot of Protosses are going to be coming in tomorrow, and some pretty high-quality Zerg players as well. So it's going to be a really exciting night of StarCraft. If you want some more Masters Coliseum, tomorrow in less than 24 hours, we're going to be live with Group B, the final group here of the tournament. It's a 2-day event for those wondering, as in Group B. First half is tomorrow, second half is the day after.
Yeah, and then playoffs are not
After the
confirmed yet
qualifiers.
when the date is. Yeah, probably after the qualifiers.
Yeah, as in there's WCL qualifiers after the group stage, and then after the WCL qualifiers, then the playoff brackets. So just non-stop StarCraft here on the CranKy Ducklings. Also tomorrow, before Masters Coliseum, I'm going to be live with ESL Open Cup Asia. So back-to-back ESL Open Cup Asia into Masters Coliseum. The StarCraft just does not end.
It never ends. Don't forget, chat, you're here forever.
You're here forever, Papi, forever. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you so much, Yaku, for joining me today as well. I know we don't get to cast together as often as we used to, so thank you for joining me. Thank you.
Woo. It's like we were the olden days.
Oh.
It's like I'm young again.
Back when you thought you had a mustache. Oh. So, yeah, if you guys are enjoyed the broadcast, if you guys want some more !socials in the chat to get links to all of our social medias, of course, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Discord. Here on the CranKy Ducklings, we are live every day. We are live every single day with StarCraft, and sometimes multiple times a day. Fun fact, today we had a tournament earlier, a couple of hours ago. We had the Tenacious Turtle Tussle, then we had a viewer replay cast, and then we had Masters Coliseum. So we had 3 events today. It's typically how intense things are on the CranKy Ducklings. We cast a lot of StarCraft.
It never ends.
Hi. So yeah, you can follow us if you're interested. A shout out to Kura. Kura has been handling the production here for the Masters Coliseum in behind the scenes, behind the curtains. She has been working diligently, so thank you so much.
Not sure where to point.
There you go. She's back there, working the strings
somewhere around there. Yeah.
There you go. Making sure that nothing is on fire. Thank you. And Yaku, if people want to tune into more of yourself, where can people find you?
In bed. Wait, no. Don't do that. Don't do that. No, never. Twitch.tv/Yakuzaku1, Twitter.com @Empora Yakuzaku, ! Discord in the chat. It's where you can find me. It's where you can find Light. It's where you can find Kuro. It's where you can find everyone. That's the CranKy Ducklings Discord server. What about you, Light?
You can follow me at Light_VIP on Twitch and Twitter if you are interested in some of my solo content. I stream throughout the week. I haven't been live on my personal channel in a couple of days, but that's because the weekend is typically filled to the brim with StarCraft casting, so I've been a little bit busy with that. But starting with the week, with Monday and Tuesday and so on, I should be live on my channel, just laddering some Zerg gameplay, some Zerg ladder sessions, some StarCraft if you're interested. Otherwise, if you're only interested in professional StarCraft, in our casting, then the CranKy Ducklings is the place to be. We have a YouTube channel where we upload on a daily basis. We also have a Discord server where you can interact with us outside of just these StarCraft streams and interact with everyone else as well. So if you're interested, we got you covered. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support. Yaku, do you have anything you want to say before we head off for the night?
I did, but I forgot.
Oh.
Craisins are good.
They're pretty good. Thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for the support. Stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid, so give them a chance. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for ESL Open Cup Asia and for Masters Coliseum.